Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. We are continuing on our adventure. We have quite a few orbs at this point, and we have the Orb of Time and we have the Orb of Nature are the main one. Oh, I guess we only have the two, and then we have the Orb of Safety. But we have a lot of orbs unlocked at this point, and we are going to be continuing to look for Orbs of Time. And we're also going to be looking for, let's see, we need an emerald mine, which I believe means we need a dry forest. Fire, oh, there's a fire cultist after us. Let's see, we cannot grow onto fire. But we can wait for, there we go. So we can use our ivy offensively, I love that. Orb of Nature is one of my favorite orbs, so it looks like the Orb of Time is not preserving it, which makes sense because we are using it even when we're moving around on the ivy. But that's got to be one of my favorite orbs in the game. Now, does the Orb of Flash? Aha, it does destroy our ivy. That's good to know. So we can gather up some more orbs. Let's see, Orb of Luck will actually, I believe, do us a little bit of good. Now, the Dry Forest, I believe, it should be unlocked. I don't see why it would not be unlocked. That ivy is so fun, so cool, and we're out. And the main issue is going to be me seeing it. We can grab some orbs to make us a little bit more powerful. And I'm trying to think if it's an advanced land of something. I don't think it is. Well, I'm going to check the overview just to be sure. Because I'm always a little bit unsure. Yes, it's unlocked. All it needs is 60 treasures. So we just need to find it, and there are so many lands in the game at this point that our odds of actually finding it are relatively low. And then, of course, my odds of seeing it are perhaps even lower. There we go. There's one right there. And looks like we have some combat coming to us. Let's see, we have quite a few charges on Flash, so let's see if we can preserve it and start to gather. Now, one thing I'm curious about, I don't actually know if Flash, if it puts out oh, never mind. If it puts out fires, is what I was wondering about. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. It looks like it actually heated up the ground a bit. So now we can start cutting down trees. We do want to be a little bit careful, not just dive in completely recklessly. But this Orb of Teleport will protect us. It will give us the option of getting out of trouble. And we might not need it, but it's something that will be good to have. Now, what is the orb for this? It's the Orb of Thorns. So that gives us the ability to stab anything. And that could be useful. It can get you out of some sticky situations. I don't think it's something that is going to be extremely useful. We've got a fire now. But we're pretty well unimpeded. We should be able to escape the fire without too much trouble. There we go. And we do have 10 treasures. And so, you know, is getting 25 worthwhile? Probably not. Orb of Winter is actually spawning here. So we could get another Orb of Teleport. Orb of Winter lets you walk through fire, and so it is really useful once fire fairies start spawning. Which they are. I don't want to go into Relia because we have 25 treasures from there, which is enough to make that land quite dangerous. We have another fire fairy, so yep, here we can walk through fire, and that was a bad idea, but that won't actually cause too much trouble. Oh dear. We're not going to be able to make it to that orb of teleport, unfortunately. We're going to focus on just moving. And covering ground. I'm not seeing situations where we can... There we go. We can fight off these hedgehog warriors and continue on. It looks like we have left the fire behind. And so we can take a little bit more time to deal with combat. And I probably should have done a little bit more work. I just now remembered that I have a strategy for dealing with the dry forest, and that's to basically cut a really big open path that will make it very easy to find my way back to the crossroads. I did not do that, and now things are getting kind of dicey. That Orb of Thorns is not going to do much for us. I believe actually it lets us, yes, it lets us fight these guys normally, so that is more useful than I thought it was. It also lets us stab the fire fairies, though that is considerably less useful. That Orb of Flash and Orb of Winter would have been nice, but we can't get them. And let's see, that is a Mirror Land. Mirror Land actually would be something to escape into, so let's try to do that. Now, it's not super safe here. I believe we do have... Actually, do we have treasures from here? It looks like not. Yeah, I think I deliberately avoided collecting treasures, so this land would be relatively safe, and because the orb from this land is just the mimics, which is not that useful. I kind of... That reminds me that for a really long time I was really confused because the blog would mention, you know, changes to the mimics. And I would try to think, like, there aren't any mimics in this game, because I was thinking of, like, treasure chests. Treasure chests that turn into monsters, and of course those are not in the game because... Of course, what he meant were the mimics that you get from the Mirrored Land. That was a really bad choice, and it's a good thing that we still have the Orb of Thorns, because otherwise that would have been disaster. So I need to be playing a little more carefully, and we are. There's a crossroads for us. So we have the Emerald Mine should be unlocked now. And we're just looking for it, and we're going to... I think we're going to go for that, and then we are going to wrap it up. And in the next episode, we will be going along the edge of Camelot, collecting orbs, and just trying to kind of make ourselves a little bit broken. The other thing that we want to do, go into the Dragon Chasms. I don't think we've gotten... No, because they're triangle. Oh, we do! We have 11 dragon scales, so we don't actually need to do... Oh, we might want 25, though, so that we can use the Orb of Domination in the crossroads. It's, again, one of the coolest orbs, up there with the Orb of Nature, in my opinion. And we can play around with other stuff. One of the things I was thinking of is... using the Orb of Matter to build stuff. Let's see. Unfortunately, that's not a rich metal beast. I kind of wanted to see if the Orb of Storms would turn rich metal beasts into treasure, but that's just an ordinary one. And so we're going to carry on, and I'm not paying enough attention again. Let's see, we have plenty of teleport, but we are out of luck. So it's going to be a little bit, slightly less likely to spawn, but we have treasures in so few lands that it's not going to make a huge difference. And I want to check the overview because I just realized that we might need gold in order to unlock it as well. So I'm going to take a look. Yes, we do not have it yet. We need 5 gold, and we only have 1. So let's find ourselves a living cave, which is, I believe, a starting land. And yeah, because we already have 1 treasure from it. So we just need to find it and, you know, decide how long we want to go. Keep our teleport all charged up. Someone actually pointed out to me in the last episode that when we left the Caribbean, we lost most of our time charges. And so I'm wondering, you know, is that something that happens when you leave any land? Because that would really shape our strategy. Do we lose orb charges when we leave the crossroads? I don't know. It's hard to build up a really large stockpile in the crossroads because orbs are a lot rarer. But it's, you know, it's something to have in consideration. And so, you know, one of the things that I was talking about, I wrote, don't remember if I posted it, but I wrote another review of this game. And one of the things I talked about was how this game requires a certain amount of planning, because things are so dangerous, and you kind of need to work out what gear do you need, and how are you going to get it, what things are going to help you out. And so that's something that we should probably take some time to do. So right now what we need is a living cave, which I have not noticed yet. We may have passed several because I kind of got into what I was talking about. Oh dear. Okay, so we have plenty of teleport, and we can grab some more storms as well. We're running out of time, but that's been preserving our orbs pretty well. And there we go. Now there's an orb of energy. I don't remember where you get it, but it is something to look for. I don't remember what it does, but you know, I want to take some time to check out different orbs. Orb of energy is from the Endorian Forest, and it does, let's see, halves the power usage of orbs, which costs some charges with each activation. Affects the one-shot orbs such as Flash or Teleport. If such an activation normally costs X charges, it costs only X over 2 rounded up if you have an Orb of Energy. Alright, yeah, so that's definitely something we want. And so let's see, we have the Ivory Tower. What do we need for the Endorian Forest? We need 10 ivory figurines. Okay. So that's kind of shaping up our plan a little bit. We want to get the Living Cave, the Ivory Tower, and then the Living Cave will unlock the Emerald Mine, at which point we will be able to go along the edge of Camelot, collect a lot of orbs, and really build up our power. So then we need to go into the Dragon Chasms, and we need to get the Orb of Domination, and we want to get 25 treasures there. We already have 11. So that shows up in the crossroads, and then we can start doing some real shenanigans. I would like to ride a rock snake, because those go fast, and they are really challenging. They have killed me so many times. Now that I think of it, rock snakes are kind of dangerous, and we would need Orb of Speed as well in order to be able to escape it. Because they do move on every turn, and I don't think that... I don't think there's a way to dismount them. Okay, now we have to actually start fighting our way through here, because we're out of charges, and I still don't want to use our Orb of Teleport. And I'm still, like, so out of it that we must have passed... Ah, here is a living cave. And I've seen it before I've wandered past it, so let us very quickly gather up the treasures that we need. I think we only need 5. Ah, but that was another thing that I wanted to do. I want to raise up an army. And so let us see if we can get 25 of these. And I realize that this is probably running a bit long at this point. So we're just going to get 10 of them, and then we're going to look for an Orb of Safety, and then I'm going to have to write down all of this plan, because it's quite a long one. This has been a long run, and there is still so much that I would like to do. Now, the odds of us finding an Orb of Safety here are not that great. The spawn rate is quite high, but let's see. Okay, we can deal with combat in the usual way here. We do have a little bit of freedom afforded to us by the Orb of Earth, which is really nice, but really Orb of Safety is what we're looking for. And so we might, you know, if we see a hub land, we will take it. And if we do not, then eventually we will come across an Orb of Safety, just by the law of large numbers, which is, of course, my best ally in this game. We are almost out of teleport. I'm actually going to need to use it to get into the crossroads, because of where that rock troll was positioned. And so, you know, that worked out right before we ran out. We are just outside of the Emerald Mine. Oh yeah, the Orb of the Mind. The orb for this land was something I wanted to get so that we could use it to mental blast things. I don't remember what things. I don't remember what things are immune to it. But it's a fun orb to play with. Just, you know, before anything else, and I want to play around with it. But oh, Fire Cultist. I remember I had some specific plan for it, and now I do not remember. We also need to talk to the Knights. And so I really need to get a notebook, because this is getting a little out of hand. And of course, if we don't manage to do it this time around, we can still do it in another run. Now, because we have the speed, we have to be a little careful not to lose our golem. But it also lets us get a little ways away from our golem so that we can use our Orb of Flash, which is nice. Because otherwise the golems get a little too cozy, and it becomes very difficult to use the Orb of Flash. So already we're getting the opportunity to build up a little bit of an army. I believe 150 is the limit of charges that you can take, that we were able to take out of the land. Let's see, you just switch places with your golems, right? Yeah. And so let's get out of here. So in the next episode, we are going to be doing one of about 1 million different things that I've planned. And I don't know yet, but I am immediately going to go and write down everything that I can remember us talking about. So there are cool things in store. I am having a great time with this run, and hopefully we will continue to have a great time. And until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.